Peace and love, y'all. It's your brother A.D.V.I.S.S. back with another installment of more interviews, aka memoirs of our real experiences. And for today's more interviews, we have the brother Professor Kannabis. But before I even do that, I gotta give y'all the intro as well as those as y'all are coming in. Please make sure if you have any questions, any ones you want to shout out and give, please put them down in the comments because again, this is a live interview, so please interact and please give what you want to give. But as I bring this brother in, now this guy that I'm about to introduce to you is your average cannabis consumer with no real place to call home. This nomad has been all over the country doing all kinds of different jobs, but the only one that makes him feel himself is spreading knowledge through music. And with that, y'all, I'm going to bring in Professor Kannabis and we're going to get this going. And shouts out to everyone that's popping in and pulling in. Good to see y'all in here. Yo, what's going on, brother?
Not much. My first day off of work in like a week and a half, and I'm spending one of the best ways I can.
Man, and I appreciate you taking this time and to come in and share your memoirs and everything with us, brother. So thank you. Said
Well,
day
thank you
one
for
in the
having me.
house. All right, we got everybody rolling in here. The real, I see you in here. To say I see you in here. Miles B's back in here. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the love. But yes, man, thank you for coming in. Thank you for reaching out for this opportunity and bringing it upon us. So glad that you're here with us.
Yeah, man, thank you for having me. I see the platform that you're creating. I
Yes,
love what you do out here, and yeah, no, wanted a chance for people to know exactly who I am. As you see, I
there it
got some day
is.
ones in the house, so I do got some people who know what I am, but I also got some new people on this venture, and they definitely haven't gotten the time to actually get to know who I am behind the artist.
Exactly. And that's what we're gonna be doing today, hopefully, y'all. So with that being said, before we get started, brother, please, is there anything that you would like to share with the folks as well as plug and if there's any questions, comments, or concerns?
Um, well, as you see, if you're paying attention to the chat, we got official Sensei 1K in here. I'm always down to share his music. Go check him out. That's Miles B, M.Y, not M.I.
Mm,
Um, let me see if I can write this shit right here. This is some merch of mine that's soon to be released. That'll be through Stitch Me Down Embroidery. Go check them out
mm.
on IG. And nah, I ain't got no questions, concerns, or none of that, man. Let's roll into this.
All right, all right. But with that, hold on, let's see. Okay, I'm just making sure I was not hearing so much feedback. I think I just turned it down, so we're good. But before we start, brother, man, thank you for again taking the day off, man. But how are you doing? How has your day been?
Oh, pretty relaxed. I got some writing in for an upcoming battle I got. But other than that, nah, I've been just enjoying it, kicking it around the house. Yeah, that's pretty much been it.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Shoot, yeah, and I did see that on your Instagram that my man's over here be doing battles. So, yeah, it's kind of appropriate that when I came up with the flyer, I didn't even notice until I looked it up and I said battling demons, and I'm like, yo, I didn't even know that, bro. This brother's a battler, so that's so dope. Right.
Yep.
With that being said, again, y'all, this is the brother, Professor Kannabis. If y'all have any questions, please throw them down in the comments. This is an interactive interview. So, man, we appreciate y'all joining in and seeing in here. Dang, Dr. Christian Gregory. Oh, my goodness. Peace and love to you, man. Good to see you in here, man. Now, that's a legend in himself. And his father, beautiful legacy. If y'all don't know who Dick Gregory is, man, you need to check out who Dick Gregory is. Come on. Um, but with that, he said take your hood off, too.
Oh shit! Fuck, my B.
No, that's not me. That's literally the brother down there, official, the
Yeah,
official
nah,
top.
yeah, I see you, Prophet.
Right. With that being said, for those who do not know you, and this is their first time experiencing and getting to know you, tell us about yourself and your background.
Um, Well, as mentioned in the introduction, I am a nomad. I was born in Massachusetts, stayed there for a little portion of my life, and then I moved down to South Carolina.
Mm,
Um, from there, I moved all around what they call the low country of South Carolina for the next 10 years, and I made myself a trip down to Orlando, Florida, where I moved for the purpose of music. The
mm,
person I ended up living with was my engineer for a while. Um, when that fell through, I picked up a job where I was traveling the East Coast as a data technician remodeling Walmarts.
mm.
Yeah, that was a good job for a while. I ended up living in Kansas City, Missouri for a while. I moved out there because of some Xbox friends. I was connected with them for about 5, 6 years on Xbox, and some situations fell through where I was at. So I was like, "Hey, y'all got a couch for me?" And they're like, "Yeah, man, definitely come through."
Mm,
Um, uh, After that, my sister wanted to move out to California with my mom. Asked if I wanted to tag along right around the time my lease was ending at the apartment I was in, and
yes.
now I'm out here. I've made some connections. I got back into music, and I've just been going hardcore at this ever since I got back.
There it is, y'all, man. A nomad in spirit and in the essence. Man, okay. Now you making me want to like ask other stuff before that's ask the other questions that's
No,
going on. But
you good, man. You
hey,
good.
as it, I mean, yeah, as it's going, we definitely will, because that's going to pop into what you were speaking about earlier. I have a question for that, but when it comes to now making your way here and really going heavy and hard into the music and writing, um, when did you begin? What was your first time writing songs?
All right. This was, I want to say I was 11 in the sixth grade.
Okay.
I Back then, I was your typical yes man. I was very timid. I didn't have any kind of confidence. And I had this one dude come up to me and straight up was like, you're gonna write a rap with me. And I was like, okay.
Hmm.
Um, and I liked the reactions I got from showing my stuff. Being down in the low country of South Carolina around the
Yeah.
year I came, I was the token white kid in most of my classes. So for them to see that from the white kid was always like overzealous reactions, despite if it was even good or bad. It was just like, oh, white kid
Mm,
can rap. So, I like that reaction.
yeah.
And I had a teacher put me onto a website called All Poetry, where I created
Hmm.
a battle league essentially on there. It was all like blog format, so like no interpersonal stuff. But that's where I really fell in love with writing
Mm,
because it was the camaraderie and just the challenge and sport of it because I didn't just create a zone where I was just like shitting on kids left and right. I lost most of the battles that I was in,
mm.
and I like that because it always gave me a room for improvement. Um, but yeah, now I was about 11 through 14, 15 when I really picked it up and that became a part of me.
I see. Man, like you said, you got that battle essence already, and again, just that whole sense of like iron sharpening iron in that
Yeah.
particular aspect, which is pretty dope. I like that. I like that, man. Speaking of writing and you speaking about wanting to teach knowledge through the music that you make, what type of content inspires you to write then? I like how the same thing
Yeah,
exactly.
like,
Who
yeah,
inspires you most?
life in itself inspires me a lot. When
Mm,
when I first really started like writing songs and like making concept to my music, not just rapping for the sake of rapping, I was a political rapper. That
mm,
was I would touch upon the subjects that people weren't really paying attention to, trying to bring awareness for the betterment of humanity. And that because that's what I was paying attention to in life. That's what I was surrounding myself and putting in.
Hmm.
As I've gotten off of that, it's only because I've stopped making that a main aspect of my life. I've started making the interpersonal communities, the people I hang out with, the more prominent aspect, because I realized young that nothing gets done without help.
Mm.
So I've always wanted that crew of people I work with within this music to not only help me push myself further, but help them push themselves further. Because as you said, iron sharpens iron.
Yes. Yeah. You are a spitting image of the environment and those you put around you.
Exactly. It was a
Yes.
lesson my mom taught me when I was young. You hang out with rocket scientists, you'll be a rocket scientist. You hang out with crackheads, you'll be a crackhead. Like you are the company you keep.
Yes. Yes. And speaking of company, we have the real. I'm not gonna even try to mess up
Oh,
the name.
that's Heineman.
Yeah. Okay. Has a question for us, which goes still in line with the inspiration and things. So, specifically, who inspires you most in hip hop?
That's a broad question. Well, broad answer because I have inspiration sources for different things where different artists
Yeah.
excel, and I look to them for advice or inspiration for these aspects. But the
Yes.
artist I would have to say overall that I look to most would be an artist by the name of Recognize, who is a group of Mayday. Um,
Okay. Okay.
yes,
And you. Okay. We're gonna get a
he's
little bit
had
more into it.
multiple accomplishments that it's hard not to brag about, like 52 freestyles in a year while also doing 2 tours and releasing an album, like that type of dedication to your craft on top of interaction that he has with his fan base and just everything he does. He is the epitome of the artist that I try to be. Now I'm not trying to be like
Mm.
the next him, but that level of work ethic and fan love that he gives, like that's what I think all artists should be. Anything less
Mm.
is deemed negative, in my opinion.
I hear you. And I mean, going off of that, man, that's I want to give you your flowers already and accomplishments for not only going to the show a year prior to go watch and then follow up and end up being able to open up for Mayday and also Wax on their tour down in Santa Ana. So man, shouts out to you on that.
Yeah, now that was something in the making for a while.
Mm.
I've been a Mayday fan for a decade plus now. I've been to more shows than I can count. Like when I got there for sound check and like I saw them, like they immediately recognized me. Like no pun intended, but like that. Like that's just somewhat of the situation I have. And like me and Rec are cool. Like I've mentioned, he has fan interaction in that first place. So like I felt welcomed, I felt home, and like that is something that I feel like is relatively normal in the independent, I have less than a million fans type hip hop world.
Yeah,
Um, they are a bit more in tune with the people who go to their VIP aspects and their meet and greets and shit like that, and
yeah.
who's commenting on their post like fucking every day and shit, like shit like that does get noticed. So, but now that as soon as like, yeah, the day I found out that tour was happening, I was trying to find the promoter and locked in, and when I did find the promoter, I was even told like I usually don't even start booking people for like another month. I was like, no, yeah,
Mm.
I need this one locked in.
Mm. But there it is, man. Again, man. Shoot. There goes that again, the hard work that you've been putting in, paying off and continuing to, pay off with the route that you're making. Now, you already got to talk a bit about the inception with writing back in 11th grade and having that online blog of really going back and forth to sharpen the sword. Now, let's step back a little bit more and get to all the nomad situations that's going on and you transversing this
Okay.
US and tell us who was Professor Cannabis as a child growing up.
All right. There's a lot to my backstory. So Ever since the age of 4, I've been in therapy. I was diagnosed young with ADHD as it was very prevalent.
Mm,
Um, Throughout the years of therapy, I stopped around 17 by a choice of my own. Um, but I was also diagnosed with some other things.
yes.
I have depression, insomnia, bipolar disorder, and for a long while I was on medication for these things.
Mm,
Um, Throughout school, I was deemed an issue. Well, no, I won't say throughout school. Um, right around high school was when I started being an actual like issue in school. Um, I was bullied throughout middle school, and in high school I had deemed that I was done with that. So I started
yes.
carrying my own protection. And rightfully so, because in ninth grade I had a dude who had a problem with me because of a girl I was dating. Like
Yes.
it's not like I was dating his girl, but still.
Yeah.
And he confronted me in the hallway with two of his friends. I was alone, so I just showed that I had a knife on me, and then he informed the hall monitor 2 seconds after that I had a knife on me, and I
Yeah.
was sent to the alternative school for the first time.
Mm,
Throughout that, they just created more issues. I rebelled against those situations, which just got me further into trouble, and I was in and out of situations. I was locked up a couple times with drug use.
mm,
But I prevailed as I was always an intelligent kid. That was one thing that was never looked over or something that I didn't realize myself.
yeah.
Um, so like the second I hit 17 and I realized I was able to be trodden as an adult and I was no longer a kid in the eyes of the state and any mistakes I made now were permanent and they would affect my life going forward severely. I stopped joking around and I knew I had to buckle down despite the mistakes that I had already made that had left some lasting effects. Um,
Mm,
but you know, as I've mentioned, you know, I've had some prestigious jobs and whatnot. You know, I've able to been and travel the country and whatnot. So, you know, I've been thriving to an aspect.
yeah. I mean, coming from the lows and you know many labels that were given to you, you still at this point right now being able to rise and push forward towards your goals and what you want, and you're a living testament to if you can be dealt some pretty ugly hands, but that doesn't mean that you give up on the game.
Exactly.
And
Um,
again, appreciate you sharing a lot of this too, my man. Like,
well,
it's
the
personal.
first step to solving problems is realizing you have one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I it's never given as like some cliche saying of what the second step is, but I believe that the second step is realizing you're not alone in your problem because that makes your problem not seem so big. When you think you're the only person with this problem, then it seems like the world is on your shoulders. So I will always be a person to advocate the things I've been through, the struggles I've had to overcome, and the struggles I have overcome, so that way people know that it's possible as well.
Yes, that role model and example.
Exactly.
Mm, man, giving the snaps on that right there, man. All
Appreciate
right,
that.
nope, of course, man. So it looks like there's a question. I think this is one of the first times actually somebody's asked me a question for sure, but I'm also going to throw it to you as well, Professor. So it says, for the host, when has a song helped you through something? So I'll say this: one of my favorite groups, especially during the time as a kid, just like you're trying to figure yourself out, going through bullying, all this other stuff, and don't know what's going on. Linkin Park helped me a lot.
Oh yes.
Linkin Park really helped me a lot. Their album Hybrid Theory, that whole album really just like really helped me put things into perspective. I think Runaway was one of the songs that really like stuck to me the most. But like during that, he said, "Bro, like, hey, I'm saying, man, Linkin Park, bro, Linkin Park, bro." I mean, I
Bruh.
would also say, I mean, I could say Common and like a few other people. In the end, exactly, like it's something about that rawness in their energy that it, as a kid, it just vibed with me and helped me. Crawling, Yes, yeah, exactly. Keep them coming. Yes, exactly.
Yup.
Like literally. So I mean, Linkin Park is one of those grand examples. So man, always love to Chester. You know, rest with the universe. Mike Shinoda, John, everybody on Linkin Park, man. Like you really was a voice for a lot of the youth who couldn't, really speak what they felt, but you were able to do it through the music.
Real talk. I 100% agree with that. Linkin Park was the king of an era for sure.
Yes, yes, man. But no, thank you for. So back at you. Is it the same, or you would say what would
Um,
be a particular song, maybe, or even a group?
a particular song that I know has helped me through a couple times. One of the things I've dealt with through life, through my depression, is suicide. And Hello Walls by Chris Calico has prevented a couple of my attempts.
Mm,
Without his music, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be here anymore. So I have to give my thanks to Chris Calico. Um, Other artists like I just had it on my brain as I was thinking. Give me a second. Um, Potluck has definitely helped me push through with my music stuff because there's been times where I've almost quit. But what they speak about in their music, and how they've gotten through those type of feelings because they're also in a group to put them onto the page. They've helped me a lot. Um, give
okay.
me a second. Yeah,
Hmm. And thank you for that question again, the real man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for that question, man.
yeah, it's a great question.
Now, after coming around through the whole whirlwind of all the challenges that have came your way, um, tell us the significance of your name, of Professor Kannabis.
Well, I think I should start by telling you my previous name, which was Darth Cannabis. Um, if you catch me on Xbox, that's still my gamer tag. But I was rocking that for the better part of a decade. Um, right around maybe 2017, 2018, I wanted to change it just because I felt it was too niche.
Mm,
I felt it wasn't, it is right around when I learned about branding. And I felt like I couldn't properly brand Darth Cannabis the way I wanted to.
gotcha.
Um, so I thought about using my name, and that's what I was going to do for a while. Then I came out to San Diego, and music wasn't the first thing I hopped back into that was an old hobby of mine. One of the first things I hopped back into was Pokemon Go, which, believe it or not, still has a thriving community. And I joined the Pokemon Go Discord for San Diego. And
Oh
within like
wow.
the first 3 hours of me being on the Discord, I realized I was just dropping knowledge left and right of things I knew about the game that people didn't. So I was like, yo, I'm Professor Cannabis to go along with the Pokemon theme, and it even works. It's all
Oh,
like Professor Trees. And I was like, yo, cannabis is a plant too, so it works. And then we got that group up to like 22,000 members in San Diego alone. And I was very interactive in this up until the point where I stopped playing again just because my life became too busy and I couldn't dedicate time to doing this.
yes.
But and 22,000 people in San Diego knew me as Professor Cannabis, and so many people liked the name. And like, I do love teaching. It's one of my favorite hobbies. If you ask
Mm,
me a question and I happen to know the knowledge on it, not only will I share it, but I'll delightfully do so. You'll even see my face light up on certain questions. Um, so I've stuck with that. And cannabis is 1,000% part of my life. As I mentioned before, I was medicated through a lot of my issues.
yes.
Um, I I cold turkey stopped all of them and just like started smoking like a quarter pound to myself a week back in the day.
Mm,
I didn't realize how dangerous it was cold turkey quitting all my medication. Don't do that to anybody who's listening. That could be very dangerous. You don't know how your body will react.
yeah.
I was lucky and didn't die. Um, but I only did that because I felt like it helped with most of my issues. My ADHD problem, my ADHD medication was causing me to have like eating problems, so cannabis helped
Mm,
me there. My insomnia medication was only there to help me sleep. Cannabis could help me there. Like all of my, well, the majority of my issues could be helped with cannabis, so why not let that be a part of me? And in
yes.
today's society, it's super brandable now. So, and yeah, no, that's the story behind Professor Cannabis.
Wow, man. Who knew, man? I mean, I'm like that's dope. I didn't even expect that Pokemon Go professor reference. That's pretty fire because I'll say I'm a Pokemon lover myself, man. So once I heard that, that's why I was like, yo, even though I'll be truthful, I wasn't really into Pokemon Go like that. I was there when it first
Understandable.
came out. I was there when it first came out. I was in Seattle and I was wondering why so many people was walking down the street with their heads down. And I'm just like, what's going on? And then it clicked in my head. I'm like, did Pokemon Go come out today? And bro, it was like a just like a wave of folks just coming down. But I think that's pretty dope. The Professor Cannabis create the Discord and do all the bro. That's tight. That's
Yeah,
really tight.
appreciate.
Man.
Um, One note on my name actually. There was a house party slash concert thing that was being thrown. I think it started to rain, so we did it inside. And in the interim of setting it up inside compared to outside, the
Yeah.
host just threw out for an idea of some freestyle battles and like threw me up. And one dude was like, "Oh no, I ain't going to battle Professor Cannabis. That's the name of somebody who's going to slaughter me."
Oh man.
Mm,
Bro, because it's like, man, he about to bring the knowledge to my dome. I ain't ready for that.
real talk.
But speaking of knowledge, from your perspective, how does knowledge bring insight?
Okay. I have my answer. I just need to formulate the sentences.
Handle it.
Knowledge brings insight through awareness. The more you are knowledgeable, the more information you are able to collect and gain, the easier it is for you to walk into a brand new scenario that you've never been in before and be able to ascertain all the information you need to be able to push through quickly.
Precise and on point. No wonder why he the professor. He gives you that definition clean and clear. Man, I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, now getting into not only we talked about a lot of the aspirations and then having the insight to help push you through and give you that motivation and to ascertain those skills. Who is one person in your life that motivates you? If it's either on a daily basis, weekly basis, just continual motivation.
I have two, and they motivate me in different aspects.
Go for it.
In my day-to-day life, I would have to say my little sister.
Mm,
Now, I do not always show the appreciation that she deserves, but she works harder than just about anybody I know,
mm,
and does it for more than just herself as well. I only wish to be able to up my work ethic towards hers, and that's saying something because my work ethic is already high enough.
mm.
And then musically, in my life, I'm definitely inspired by Miles B. For the same reason, this man puts in work. Not only just with his own stuff, but with features, with setting up shows for other people. Like he did the Cali to
Got it to
Texas that I
Texas.
was a part of. And that was huge. Like he essentially got all of us to go out to Houston, like helped us with our situations out there, was doing it big for the fucking show. Like it was awesome and I can't wait for the next one. But he's definitely an inspiration and somebody I look up to when it comes to music wise.
Mm. And I love the differentiations that you make, knowing that motivation is just not a one-way highway. That there's
Yep.
many things that you can be motivated by in different aspects of your life. So Of course, coming from a professor, come on now, he got to give you every little piece and part. He dissecting it down to the T, y'all, or in his particular case, to the S. You know, but the next thing I got for you is, with those motivations and those people in your life that you appreciate in those ways. Why are relationships important? From your perspective.
I'll add on to something I mentioned earlier. Nothing can be done by yourself in a grander scheme.
Yeah.
You only have so much time in a day, and you spend 8 hours, well, you spend 6 to 8 hours of it sleeping if you have a somewhat healthy sleep cycle. And then
Yes.
you'll end up spending another 6 to 8 hours working, depending how many days a week you work. That leaves you limited time to get things done. If
Mm-hmm.
you have any aspirations outside of just wanting to live comfortably and get by, you need the help of others around you. And then even when you want to just live that comfortable life, loneliness is proven to bring mental damage to you. It'll increase depression. It'll increase anxiety. Solitary confinement has been known to bring paranoia and make people hear voices and see things that aren't there. You will literally go crazy being by yourself. All relationships should be beneficial on a two-way street. No relationship should be negative on either side. You shouldn't be negative towards somebody, and somebody shouldn't be a negative presence towards you either.
Yes. Yeah, we back. We back.
Yeah. My phone tried to connect to a Bluetooth or something. All right, well, the benefit of relationships in both your personal life and your business life is your sanity and happiness and your progression in your goals.
Mm. Yes.
Respect.
Respectively. Respecting these. Because that's the professor. He's going to have that on a test, so please pay attention. So,
Study up, study up.
you already know. So I've asked a few people, and I wanted to bring this question back because, again, I'm bringing it back up, the nomad that you are, spreading this knowledge where you go. How would you describe the road of an artist or an MC? Like, what are the milestones? What are the stops? What are some of the obstacles or any other things that is on that road to being an MC or an artist?
I'll give you a timeline. Within the first 5 years of an artist taking their craft seriously, and what I mean by that is you're no longer just recording in your room with your friends and like grabbing beats off YouTube. Like you're investing in yourself. You're going out to shows and you're performing, maybe even opening up for an artist on tour. You're paying for studio time. You're paying for your beats. You're actually you're serious about being an artist.
Yes.
Within the first 5 years of these things, some of the hurdles and obstacles you're going to run into, for sure. Shitty promoters who are going to charge you too much for too small of a slot when the show is overpopulated. You got like 20 people performing in a 4-hour night. You're paying $200 for 10 minutes. Be prepared for shit like that. Also, be prepared for relationships with artists to become issues with getting the things done that you need. And what I mean by that is you'll end up wanting to combine your business and your personal relationships with the friends in the music industry you make. You'll be giving them that, all right, nah, yeah, you're good. I understand you're busy. Get it to me next week. And then next week comes, oh, no, yeah, I understand you're busy. You're getting to me next week. And eventually that's going to lead to issues with your business partners that you also call friends. And It's going to happen with one of them, I guarantee it, and then you'll learn your lesson and you'll move past it.
The fall off.
Um, you'll also run into situations of you feel like you're not getting the money that you should be getting.
Mm.
Um, and I guarantee that's just because you don't know enough yet. I'm still in this situation myself, consistently learning every day on all the routes that I'm able to go to maximize the profits I'm making off of the art that I create. Especially in today's digital age where you're able to upload it to 50 million sources, and it's complicated making sure you get everything you get.
Yes.
Now, some of the good things that you'll run into within the first 5 years is that first time a crowd actually fucks with you, and
Mm.
you get the overwhelming positive reaction after your set, or you get them vibing along to one of your songs and they're singing the chorus. That feeling will come, I guarantee it. As long as you make decent music, and not even always then, people is going to feel what you create.
Yeah.
We got 8 billion people on the planet. It really doesn't matter what you create, you'll make a fan. I guarantee that. Um, so just keep pushing and you'll hit that day. Um,
And you'll do some
another thing,
damage.
yeah, real talk. Another benefit that you'll receive within the first 5 years is your connection of friends within the business. Um, just because it's a negative aspect doesn't mean it's also not a positive one. It's just how you look at it, how you take it and address it. Um, and then, yeah, within the first 5 years, as long as you're taking yourself seriously, you should be getting some profits within your music. And yeah, that's a good thing. That first $20 you make off your streaming or whatever it be is music. There's money that you created off of something you made, and that's always a good feeling.
Yes.
Within the next 5 to 10 years, um, what you should be expecting is headlining your own tours.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a small local one, like for me, if I was to like hit SoCal and everything that consists in SoCal, so like San Diego, La Jolla, Santa Ana, LA, shit like that. I just do a small one, but I headline it. It is a Professor Kannabis tour. If you're coming out to this show, you're coming to see me.
Yeah.
That is definitely something you should be expecting to do by your 5th year going on. Same with festival situations. If you haven't even applied to a festival within your first 5 to 10 years, well, so after that 5 year marker, I personally think you're messing up.
Mm.
Um, Something also to expect is you get a legal team, management, a lawyer. You look fully into making sure everything is copyrighted and you're getting all your shit backed up and exactly how you need to be, and you're learning everything that you truly need to that's behind the scenes. You're understanding the business side of the music business.
Yes.
Um, Now, the bad things that you're to expect within that 5-10 year gap. Um, is lack of your interpersonal relationships because you're now more successful with your music. You're now on the road. You're now going out of state to do events, and you're gonna miss a graduation or a wedding or something because you have an opportunity to expand your fan base or make some money or get that exposure you've been looking for or work with that guy you've been working for. Like, that situation is going to pop up to where you won't want to skip that and you're going to have to miss something else in your life. No
Mm.
way to avoid that. Um, and that's just the day you'll have to make a choice. What's more important to you in the moment? Um, And anything after that time period, I wouldn't be able to give accurate advice, as most artists don't live past well, when I say live, I mean their careers don't live past a decade, and anybody who does is considered a legend, and just look at them now. That's what you
Yeah.
have to expect.
There's the formula right there. I feel it. I feel it, man. Um, quickly on that road too that I wanted to throw your way and get your thoughts on it is, what is your thoughts on that inner critic of yours? Like, where does that thing creep in around those time points that you put in? How do you address that?
You have to listen to it like any other critic, but just like any other critic, you take it with a grain of salt.
Mm,
Um, you are your own worst critic because you'll overanalyze, but you're also your best critic because you know what you like. And as an artist, you should be making shit you like, you know? Also make, some stuff for the fans. But if as long as you're making what you like in the art that you create, then people will come to you.
yeah,
Um, sorry,
you're good.
ADHD just kicked in. What was the original question?
So I had said on that route about on the road for the MC, the whole idea of that inner critic and how you
Hey,
address that inner critic.
um, I personally, like I said, will just take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
Um, at times, it will eat at me more than often. Like, it's more specifically around battles, and that's because, like, I have time to prepare. Um, And so, like, when I'm done with my first verse and I'm starting my second verse, I'll look over my first verse again to make sure my punches are hitting right.
yeah.
And, like, because I've already rapped it like 70 million times, I see that small error because it's 70 million times. And really, it's not an error. I'm just being super fucking nitpicky. So
Mm,
it's that self-realization to where you have to realize you're doing that. Take your
yeah,
critics with a grain of salt because you also know what's going to be crap. Like, you know what you can do. If you can do better, do better. But know that we are limited. Take going to the gym. Yeah, you can eventually lift 400 pounds, but you can't do it right now.
yes.
So work your way up to that.
Wise words from the professor. Take your notes. Uh, with that being said, and we talking about this road and this route. Now, before we get into the other segment I like to get into, we got one more question before that. But like anybody else, when they're figuring out what route they want to take, what song they want to put down, what ambiance or atmosphere they want to create for their listeners and folks, how do you get yourself in that space? So what is your creative process for
All right.
you?
This one may sound a little weird, but when it actually comes to writing, um, I don't put all that much effort towards it. When I feel like writing, I do. And the second I hit a mental block that will last more than like a minute or two,
Yeah.
I will put my phone down and walk away until I feel that like, oh shit, I want to write feeling. Like, even if it's just like the smallest of, I could probably write something. And if I get one or two lines out, then that's that. But conceptually, that's a whole nother thing. That's usually where I have my biggest problem is like writing that first line out or like getting the actual concept of like where I'm going. Luckily though, I'm a pretty creative isn't the right word I'm looking for, but we'll go for it right now.
Yes.
I'm a relatively creative person, and I'm able to just like ass pull some ideas and then nitpick those to
Mm.
find what I could actually work with, and then that's usually where I'll go creatively.
You're very flexible and adaptive.
You need to be. Life throws
Mm-hmm.
too much shit at you for you to be rock solid in your ways.
Yeah. Beat water, my friend.
Be water, my friend.
Mm. Ah. So before we jump into the segment I like to call fun questions, we have a question from another brother who no more spoiler for y'all, but I'm gonna be interviewing this brother later on as well too this week. It's Ferno the player over here has what makes you want to keep being great? That's the first one.
I personally believe that it is every human being's job to be the best human they can be. We have no reason not to. Kind of like in today's day and age, we have no reason to be dumb. We have the entire internet in our pockets. Like, get smart. But
Mm.
before we even had access to that, we had access to ourselves.
Yes.
You can consistently, no matter what you are doing mentally, even work on being a better person. If you're doing anything less, you're wasting your time here.
Mm.
So that is why I work towards being great every day.
Beautiful. And with working towards being great, the other question under that the Furno has is, and where do you get the energy to keep going?
Some days I don't even have that. I'll be
Mm.
real. Um, but I just focus on where I see myself in 10 years. Like that image that I have in my head on, where could I be in 10 years? What does that situation of happiness look like?
Yes.
I work towards maintaining that. If what I'm doing right now is able to help me get towards there, then so be it. But the important part is to not beat yourself up on the days where you don't have the energy to keep pushing towards. Everybody needs rest. If you keep going, you're going to burn out. And
Yes.
nah, that's not healthy. Um, Not only do you have to keep your body healthy, but you have to keep your life healthy as well.
Yeah.
Working too hard will leave you irritable, which will ruin relationships, which will then mess up so much.
Yes.
So it's not about just keeping the energy, but spending it correctly.
Balance, y'all. Balance. Wow. Thank you for those, and thank y'all again for the
Yeah, real talk.
questions.
Great
Yes,
question,
man.
Fernando.
Yes. And if y'all have more, again, please put them down. But now we're getting into the section that I like to call fun questions. They're fun to
Okay.
me. They may not be fun to y'all, but again, they're fun to me. So everybody in the comments, those watching this now or later, I see you on YouTube. Like, go ahead, put down the comments as I'm making these because you're invited to join. Okay, so join in with Professor Kannabis, and we're gonna have our answers to questions when I'm gonna put them down. Okay, y'all. So please join in as well as. Again, go check this brother out. Follow him on Instagram at Professor_Kannabis. And I'm going to be putting more info for all of this and for y'all to follow this brother, please. So stay locked in with us. So to start off these fun questions, I love doing Would You Rather. So why don't we do a Would You Rather? And one of them is very close to what you were speaking about earlier, which was
Okay.
very interesting. So this first one, so listen, because I like to make my Would You Rathers long. I just do.
Yep.
So the first one, would you rather, and this is to everybody, would you rather have the ability to remember everything but have to fight a prime Mike Tyson for 1 minute every day? So that's the first one.
Yep.
Would you rather have the ability to remember everything but have to fight a prime Mike Tyson for 1 minute every day? Or would you rather have the assets of the wealthiest people in the world but live a life of solitude?
Mm.
So again, y'all, the first one, be able to remember everything, but you got to fight a prime Mike Tyson for 1 minute every day. Or the second one, have all the assets of the wealthiest people in the world, but live in solitude.
All right. Me personally, this one's a little bit easier for me because the second option touches upon something I won't mention now because I'm not trying to get canceled so fast, but it touches on an opinion of mine.
Yes.
I would choose the assets of the wealthiest people on the planet and live in solitude because if my suffering will bring the betterment of the human race, I will
Yes.
always choose that option because I am one to many. So if I have to live in solitude to make it to where I'm able to dedicate these funds to the areas that I believe would push humanity to better, then I would choose that option all day long.
I guess me and you were on the same thought wavelength. When I was putting this down, I was like, this is one way I would go with being able to explain that second one. Because personally,
Mhm.
I would do that same thing.
Yeah, we
personally.
talk.
If I didn't think about that, yeah, I would want to be able to remember everything. But I'm always like, I have to
Like
fight
I
Mike Tyson like
and
for
with
a
that, there
minute.
needs to be the condition that I'm okay after because 1 minute in the ring is me, like me, in the ring with Mike Tyson for a minute at his prime. Like yeah,
Yes,
I'm not gonna live after that, so it doesn't matter if I remember. And I remember everything. I'm not trying to remember these ass beatings.
there it
Like
is.
I'm cool on that because yo, if I remember it in like clear vividly, I no, I'm not trying to walk into that tomorrow again. It's like no, I'm cool on that.
It's like, look at, he's like the final boss, but you start learning the movements. Maybe I don't
Yeah,
know. But my
and,
brother said over, he said Mike gonna knock the memory out of me anyways.
thank you. Oh no,
Hilarious again.
yeah,
Go
that
ahead.
was a good one though.
Hey man, it came to my head, man. I had the memory. I wasn't fighting Mike, but I had the memory.
Mm.
Uh Now the second one I got for you is a finish this line. Since we got a battler in the building, we got a spontaneous off the top freestyler right here too.
Okay.
So however long you go with it, however long you go with it. But this one I got for you, and that goes for everybody in the comments too. Finish this line. If time is of the essence, then
Oh, time out. I ain't even. Yeah, I'm gonna hit you with some philosophical shit because I like that question. If time is of the essence, oh, see what I was about to say. If time is of the essence, then essence is always fleeting. But I don't know if I agree with that.
mm, mm. But it's still a good explanation of how time, but continue.
If time is of the essence, then the essence is more precious than we realize.
Better capture it all before it's gone.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Mm,
And that's applying essence to anything.
yes. Yes. Okay, my man. Yes. Really want to throw it down on us again. You are tuned in with the professor of the cannabis. If you on that go like Pokemon, then it's the professor you go to right here.
Real
Get
talk.
them bars. Mm.
You need some
Now,
life lessons or a fat blunt. You know who to go to.
there it is. High on life and high off life. All that you want to put it. The essences, all of those. I'm just feeling like I'm running. If time is of the essence, then I'm just feeling like I'm running.
Okay.
Yes. Man, KZ, every time you come up in here, bro, we just don't, bro, you just not doing that each time. I appreciate you, brother, being in here, but you can't come here and be like, all right, kick a freestyle real quick every single time we live, my G. I appreciate you, though. Another time, my man. Maybe later. Who knows? If you stay tuned in, who knows?
Yeah, real
Um,
talk.
Now, the last thing I got for you, this is a scenario as well as there's a follow-up question after the scenario. So
Okay.
I'm gonna throw it out to you. Again, this goes to everybody too. Bro, I was just thinking about your song. You're right. You're right. The unreleased song that nobody knows about but you right now. Yes. Uh, but okay, here it is. If you had the opportunity to relive a moment in your life that could change the course of your whole life, why would you or why wouldn't you? And what would that moment be?
All right. If I could go back in time to relive a moment, actually. Oh, all right, time out. I have a little asterisk on this.
Handle it.
am I able to see the results of the altered timeline and then choose if I want to stay there or not?
Yes, because at the end I have this question that I'm gonna follow up to you. So
Okay, okay.
yes.
Well, um, one event that I would, if I could change one, like go back in time and change one event, it would be me changing moving out of Massachusetts. Because when I
Mm.
moved to South Carolina was when that guy came up to me and was like, yo, let's rap. And like a lot of my life changed because I lived in where I lived in South Carolina. So I've always been
Mm.
curious if I didn't move there and I stayed in Massachusetts, where would my life have gone? Especially because education is way different there compared to South Carolina. Like, hey, yo, peace out, man. Drive safe.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah. Thank you for tapping in, brother, man. Always. Thank you.
But yeah, nah. So I would go back to when I was about 10 years old, and if I could somehow alter that course of event, then I would stayed in Massachusetts.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay.
Mm.
And so the follow up I have for you is being at that staying in that Massachusetts. Now, this is something for you. Either you can respond to it now or to just think about, later on, and you have this for yourself. Is for you doing that and picking that moment in that particular time, decode that moment to yourself, into a message to your future self of what that would have meant.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what that decision means, or at least what it means to me, is I take education to be very important.
Mm.
Because the whole reason that I would want to make that move is to see where my education would go. Because when you think about Massachusetts and like colleges, it's the most prestigious colleges in America.
You got MIT out there.
You got Harvard, you got
Mm-hmm.
fucking Yale, which is I know that's Connecticut, but I mean, come on, that's Massachusetts. Shut up.
Yes.
But yeah, which really isn't too off of who I am today, just on a different path with it.
There it is. To the young professor and the future professor.
We'll
Like this
talk.
new Pokemon, Scarlet and Violet. You got the prehistoric professor. You got the futuristic one. So there you go.
We'll
And shouts,
talk.
shouts out to the brother Jody Hustle in the building. I should have brought to the Clean Money Entertainment, but shouts
What's
out
up,
to you in
Jody?
there, brother. Man, but that has been the segment of fun questions. Hopefully, those have been fun questions because they've been fun for me. So, shouts out to all y'all. Thank you, Professor, for answering and involving into those questions.
Anytime.
Yes. Now we're going to continue on, y'all, with the segment. Now we're getting into some music because we're all, we've had the brother here so graciously and humbly shout out other folks' music, but then not even want to speak or even talk upon his music just yet. But this is this moment for him. Memoirs of our real experiences. We want to experience and get to know more. And I see your question, Ferno. We gonna get to it. Don't worry, I got you, brother. So the next question I got for you, and on the flyer, if y'all saw, there's the teaser of him putting out a project which I want him to speak on. So the question I have for you right now, brother, is go ahead and tell us a bit about the Lucid Lofi Volume 1 project you got coming.
All right. So one thing that I've like I'm kind of obsessed with in hip hop as of like a decade to a decade and a half ago was there
Mm-hmm.
was a lot of like mixtape series. I loved that because they always kept a certain aesthetic, changed it up just enough so that way it was new music, but was like what you were looking for in the time.
Yes.
Um, and I'm huge on making playlists. I no longer use Spotify. I use Tidal as now I'd like to
Nice.
support artists more through
Yes.
the royalties and whatnot. But if you were to check my Spotify playlist, as I haven't transferred them all over yet, I build them for moods. And one of them that I built was a playlist called Lucid Lofi. I've always enjoyed that title. I personally think it sounds very intelligent. Like when I hear Lucid Lo-Fi, the music I expect to hear is shit that's gonna make me think. And with the type of hip hop that I like making, I felt it was perfect. So what I'm going to be doing with this series is each volume is going to be about 5 or 6 songs. They're going to be
Hmm.
short and sweet, but all of the beats are going to be from one producer who has some prevalence in making lo-fi music.
Okay.
These projects are going to be completely free as I'm not able to monetize them. I'm in the spirit of old school hip hop and I'm just straight up stealing beats and creating new type of shit with it. But it's just solely for the aspect of creating art. This upcoming one is going to be with beats from Lo-Fi Samurai.
Okay.
I have already performed once the intro to the upcoming project. I'm going to be calling it HIA, which is an
Okay.
acronym for Honing Intelligence Grants Higher Altitudes. That's going to be an aspect of my branding.
Okay.
Um,
You
and yeah,
just
nah. So I'm wanting to make this very prevalent, and since this is my first project that I'm going to be releasing,
yes.
I felt it was a perfect opportunity for me to start doing this.
Yes, and you are basically baiting me with a good time because if you didn't get to hear when you was there with Miles interview, man, I am a lover of acronyms. So when I hear an acronym, somebody put it into word into song, man, I'm already like I'm there. Let me see what you got. I'm looking forward to that. But okay, um, I'll say since it's still coming out, or you're still putting the pieces together. How long did it take for you to get like this idea of that title of Lucid Lo-Fi? Besides, I know you creating the
Yeah,
playlist.
the well, for me, that specific name probably took only like a minute. My whole goal there was alliteration. I have one playlist, acidic arrangements. It's perfect for tripping.
Mm,
I have love limericks. It's all love songs or songs talking about love. Sultry sounds, music that I would fuck to. Just like alliteration was the theme with my playlist titles. So when I I really like lo-fi music. It always has just the right amount of room to put some vocals on while also having a sample or two to fill up that chorus or just add an extra layer of depth while also being super fucking chill.
yes.
So I was like, I want to make a lo-fi project. I don't need it to be a full album. But then I realized there's a couple producers I fuck with that, have beats that I fuck with. So I was like, this is going to be it. There's no other option. I thought of like 2 other names. Neither of them sounded even good enough for me to remember. And then I remembered that I had that playlist, and I was like, it'd be stupid for me not to use it.
There it is. Okay. All right. And I'll leave the other questions that I have for this when the release does come, because I know you're still thinking about it, but one of them will be, a message and what message you want to give to folks from that drop. So you don't have to share it now, but if you have an idea, you definitely can.
Well, I do have an idea of a message that I'm going to actively work towards portraying, and that is getting a gist of the type of music I plan to create, at least lyrically.
Okay.
I did state that this is going to be a lo-fi project, but I don't have any of my music out. Monetary issues are what's preventing me from doing that. Going to the studio, getting your stuff mixed and mastered is quite an endeavor, but
Yes.
if you've been to any of my live performances, then you'll hear that I do like old school hip hop. I'll do new school stuff. I've rapped over EDM. Like, grab an acoustic guitar and start playing some country stuff. I'll even rap over that. Um, the music too much ain't a problem. It's what I'm saying, and that's one thing that
Yes.
I do want to be portrayed is start listening to what is being said on the music that you guys intake. You know, that it molds your brain and becomes what you are. Like, the message is important. Don't just
Yes.
listen to these beats.
Lyrics matter. Words are real spells, and you are what you also listen to.
100%.
I love it.
Put, put that shit on a shirt.
Mm. I know real lyrics matter is definitely a shirt for sure. I know I've seen that. But words are real spells coming soon, y'all. Coming
Yeah,
soon.
real talk. Heard it here first.
Yeah. Oh, some folks who do know, I have a series a long time ago that I put out. It's called Words Are Real Spells, and it's the acronym called WARS. Since the
Okay.
English language, since the English language is such a cryptic language, and there's always wars going on with the words that we use, so words are real
Mm-hmm.
spells.
100%. Actually, just a little tidbit about how cryptic the English language is. Some of our words don't even make sense, like the word won't. It's a
Yeah.
contraction of will not. Where are you getting that O from?
Yep.
Like, what?
Yeah.
No.
As well as the word facade, which basically is supposed to be facade, but how
Yeah,
it's
like,
spelled.
no. Granted, as far as I understand, that's because it's not an English word.
But again,
It's
that's
it,
why.
Yeah, like for some reason the English are okay with stealing words from other languages and pretending that they're English.
Well, that's why I call the English language a Frankenstein language because it's put together from multiple different languages to make English.
100% I agree with you. I like that. A Frankenstein language. I'm
Mm-hmm.
actually use that.
Hey, take it and run with it.
Real talk. Thanks for putting
And
me on.
hey, it's all that's about, man. Shoot, look at the professor drops gems too, but the professor also is a student learning.
You never stop learning. Everybody got something to offer you.
1,000%. I agree with that for sure. Man. Now we got the question from Ferno. I know he had dropped out if he's still in here, but got two questions in here. The first one again is who do you want to work with in San Diego?
There's a cat I've seen perform a couple times. This man is fucking dope. Like, God, he's dope. Old school dope. Like, when you hear this man's bars, it's like, oh shit, he's cold. His
Yeah.
name is Roy Mack.
Okay.
Um, if you see his name on a flyer, you gotta go. Have
Okay.
to fucking go. It's, yeah. Me and him are in talks. We're already linked. Something is going to be coming out in the future, but, yeah, we're only in talks.
Okay.
So, yeah, no, that's the person I'm wanting to work with the most right now.
Mm. And the second one is and someone that is not with us anymore. So who would you
Okay.
work with that has passed on? Who would you want to have worked with that has passed?
Yeah. MF Doom. Like, that man was such an inspiration to me with the way he twisted the English language and made it into the jigsaw puzzle that he did. Like, man was a fucking god.
Bruh.
Fucking rest in peace. He passed away too soon.
Yeah. And as mysterious as he was, mysteriously he had left because we didn't
Yep.
find out until the end of the year that this man was gone like months ago.
Real talk. Hey,
Man,
he passed in the same way he lived. Real talk. Yo, actually, um I had aspirations in my younger rap years to follow suit in something similar to what MF Doom did. I wanted to go on tour with two other artists, but both of them were me, wearing a different mask and a voice changer, doing like completely different styles of hip hop. So like
wow.
one would come on with some like aggressive, slower flow, old school boom bap type shit, and then one will come out with some like super fast chopper type shit, and then the other one would be like a stoner rapper, and like, yeah, no, I had a whole idea of what I was gonna do, and it was modeled after the idea of the hidden, of the masked appearance of MF Doom.
Mm, okay, man. That's what I'm. Hey, you never know.
Real
You
talk.
never know. There's a crew that I know that's out here around in the area, if not around in Santa Ana, that actually does something similar to that. Forgot the brothers right now. Oh, the test subjects. There's two brothers. They be rocking masks and going to shows and just doing their thing. They have that kind of doom-esque boom bap hip hop type
Okay.
feel, and they just rock mask and they just come and do
Yo,
their thing.
and well, what you say they were called? The test subjects?
The test
Yeah, I'm
subjects.
gonna have to check them out.
Yeah, the test subjects. They put in their rounds right now, but I've got to see them perform a few times. They got to rock around Elder Sensei, which, I'm sending love to Elder Sensei right now too, with hearing about Hurricane Chris and Tame One, so
Yeah,
sending
real
out
talk.
that love to them and their families, man. So
Real talk to the whole East Coast.
yes, yes, man. Now with that, on top of that, because we've been talking about the music, yes, we got like the other aspects of yourself, which I do want you to speak a little bit on the battling side in
Hmm.
this question. This is just me personally bringing it out. But outside of music, what are some other hobbies that bring you joy?
I am a huge anime fan. I even read manga. I'm big into that. I'm super excited for this season. We got Bleach, we got
Yes,
Spy Family, we got
family.
Chainsaw Man, My Hero Academia. Like it's thick right now, and I'm fucking loving it.
Yes.
Um, I'm also a huge enjoyer of music itself, just listening to. You'll find me just like exploring Spotify or Tidal, YouTube, just trying to find new shit from underground artists. I just found a new song from an artist called T Zank. Shit is fucking gas. It's called Play Around. I gotta send it to you. It's a vibe.
Okay. Please do.
Um, let's see. Oh, I'm really outside of that though. Like lately, I just been fucking working.
Hmm.
Like 10 days, sorry, 11 days straight is what I just worked. I had one day off and then I worked a week for that. And then I had a day off and then like I worked another 10 days. And then my days off, like I may have a day off, but I'm still putting work into my artist stuff with the interviews or like a Saturday when I have a day off, I'm doing a battle. And
Yeah.
like even in my time off, I'm just constantly working.
I
But
see it.
yeah, well, when I do got that time, I like to watch anime. Oh,
Shouts
I
out to you,
recently,
Sabu, man. Good. Thank you for being in here, Sabu, brother. Thank you for coming through and watching the interview, my man. Shoot.
hell yeah,
Again,
man. Thank you
one
very
half
much.
of the booth as well as another dope brother that, hey, if you love some island vibes and some real vibe music, please y'all check out Sabu as well too.
Yeah, yo, hey, Sabu, fucking send what you think your dopest track is to my inbox. I'll check this shit out.
Yes. And continuing all right with the work. Okay, you got the work.
Um, uh, oh yeah, outside of like reading manga, watching anime, listening to music. Oh, I've also been playing chess a lot more recently.
Okay.
Yep, I love getting down with that. I've turned a homie of mine onto it. Started helping him get better. We've been slacking on it a bit, but we'll get back onto it. Yeah, nah, I love me some chess, some dominoes, spades.
Okay.
Like, yeah, nah, I'll run a table now.
There it is. Okay, shoot. Man, shoot. Good times right there. That's what I'm talking about. Now, the one other part is I at least wanted to briefly have you go ahead and tap in and talk about battling. Because that's one thing, again, when I said coming up with this last two questions that I do have for you, or three questions I have for you, is I had the whole idea of battling. And I didn't know that you was up in the scene, man. Tell me a bit of how that came to be, which I know a bit of it
Yeah.
stemming back from then,
Um.
but how they came to be out here.
Well, time out. How did I? Oh, somebody plugged me up. I can't remember who exactly it was. It might have been Prophet.
Mm,
Maybe. Don't.
don't quote you on it.
Yeah, yeah. But somebody plugged me up with shots fired out here. Because my very
Mm,
first message to him was, hey, I fuck with battling. I've been an artist for this amount of time. I would love to get on a card. How do I go about auditioning? Yada, yada, yada.
yeah.
And Yeah, no, they set something up for me really quick. I was probably like 2 weeks, and they got back to me, which is regular time for a business to get back to somebody. You know, you doing shit, and I've this is the first contact, so it ain't gonna pop up as an actual message, and so it is what it is. But they set something up against this dude named Ratchet Stokes. That fell through. I
Mm,
didn't know what was up with that until like a month after he didn't show up for the battle, and I
okay.
found out that his pops had passed.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Rest in peace to him. Dude just want to set out onto the public airways that I do apologize for any shit talk that I said about him being like scared or anything like that. I didn't know what the situation was.
Yeah.
But that second cat that I got put up with a battle and he didn't show up either. Nah, he's bitch made. Alleyway big. You can come get these bars anytime. Fuck around and find out. You get shit on, son.
Mm,
But then Prophet came through on my third battle. That one is a debatable.
mm.
But I'll say I lost that one 2-1. Didn't anybody there say anybody 3-0'd? It was all like all the people I talked to, they're like 2-1 Prophet, 2-1 you. So like it legitimately was debatable, but I'm gonna count that one as a loss on my record.
Mm.
And then yeah, no, I got one coming up this Saturday, and
Okay.
yeah, dude's cold. Like, yeah, he's the first person out of the four people I was supposed to battle, to where I'm like, yeah, my man's good.
Got
So, but
coming
hey,
with it.
yeah, I'm excited.
That's what's up. Okay, man. Shoot. Now, bridging all of that together with things that you love to do outside of music, music battling, being the nomad and professor that you are, always on the go. What is your ultimate goal with your passions?
I don't have that desire to have diamond plaques, believe it or not. I'd be cool with like one gold. Even if it's like I was a feature on somebody else's song, I'd be cool with that. Um, I just I want the love for my music to be just big enough to where I'm able to tour successfully and have people really vibe at my shows. Like
Mm,
50 to 100 people in the crowd. If it gets bigger than that, fuck yeah. But that's not the goals I'm aiming for. I'm aiming to be a sustainable artist
yes.
because I'm not in this for the money. I love hip hop. It is not only just a part of who I am, but it saved my life more than one time. So I'm just giving that love back, and hopefully I can spread that type of love for somebody else. If I'm able to help somebody's day or improve somebody's thought processes, then I've done what I was meant to.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Man. And I think that's not only just to say it in a humble way, but I think it's just a great perspective, a way to look at it, especially being able to pour back, because that's one thing folks forget to to really actually think and put in their minds, is that we're not only here on this earth for us to have the goals that we want to achieve, but also those connections that we make with people to help, you know, send some beauty to their life and to pour back. So I dig that.
Yeah.
Really dig that. Now, last two questions and we get in there. And before those last two questions come in, I want to take this opportunity to again give you your flowers and appreciate you for, coming on and sharing your thoughts and sharing your time with me and us, and being able to be open, vulnerable, and give us such, wise sayings and experience. So thank you so much, brother.
Well, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to be able to express myself like this, and also for you giving me your time. As valuable as my time is, so is yours.
Yes.
Um, so yes, thank you, and you're welcome.
There it is. Boom. Doubles. All right. Last two questions that I got for you, and we're gonna be up out of here. The first one I got for you, it's the ones on the flyers. So, what are your thoughts on battling demons in connection to your passions in life? It's the first one.
You have to.
Mm,
Straight that is the simplest of all answers. You live with demons on your shoulder, and you're gonna do nothing but create destructive actions.
mm,
Um, when you got something in the back of your mind eating at you and putting you down, then you're not going to be making those decisions that are going to do you good in a week's time.
yes.
You're going to be looking for those immediate gratification rewards, the actions that are going to lead you into the I feel great right now, not I got to eat some shit so I know what good food tastes like later. Because you
Mm,
can only have those type of thoughts when you have that clear mind and you're able to look towards the future. If you got all this negativity sitting inside of you,
yes.
you have no forethought.
Hmm.
Yeah, long story
Perspective.
short, you got to.
Got to. And the second question, which again along that lines is, what are your thoughts on correcting the formula when it comes to your passions in your life?
I have the same stance. You have to.
Hmm.
Who are you to think that you're gonna get it right on the first time, especially if you've never done it before?
Yes.
Um, Humans are fallible, 1000%. Um, Actually, something I wanted to touch on earlier. If you aren't learning from your mistakes, you have to learn from the mistakes of others.
Yes.
Hence one of the reasons why I'm so open with my stuff. Um, but you're gonna make your own mistakes. And the definition of insanity
Yes.
is replicating your actions, expecting a different result. So if you don't change up your formula, you're gonna keep hitting that same brick wall
Mm,
till your fucking face is bloody. Like, yeah. Like,
yeah.
yeah, think of it like that. If you keep walking into a wall, you gonna do it again? No, you're gonna think about what you're doing, you readjust.
Yes. Exactly. Thank you for that visual and again the preciseness in explaining it as well, because I've also used that visual a few times for people, especially if you're gonna keep walking down the street and knocking into a pole or a sign. Are you not gonna move to the left or the right? Are you gonna
Yeah,
keep
real
running
talk.
into?
Like, hey, some people out there though.
Yeah, that's what we call people like to learn the hard way. Which I'm
Yeah.
not saying. Which I'm not saying. Oh, is that's like the wrong way to go? But
No, it's just the hard way. Some learn
exactly.
slower than others. But hey, that's where it takes a village, man.
Yes.
Sometimes it's gonna be like, nah, man, like, nah, come over here. Avoid that pole.
Yeah, so you can at least have some taste in your mouth, so when you
Yeah,
get to dinner, it tastes
yeah,
good.
thank you.
Versus
Yeah, yo, exactly. Yo, hey, dinner always tastes better after a hard day work.
going the hard way. Yeah.
Yo, real talk.
Uh. Oh my man. Wow. Yeah. Correct the formula. You have to battle the demons.
You
You have
have to.
to. Another quote. Keep that, y'all. You have to. Professor
Mm-hmm.
Kannabis, 2022. All right. And brother, for the final question, I always leave it with everyone because shots out, I say it all the time, but shots out to Busy Balboa, which she is another sister that's out in San Diego who'll be doing her thing around there. So I don't know if you know about Busy Balboa, but she's another dope artist out there doing her thing as well. Um, she gave me a great idea from me going on to an interview of hers of a podcast and ended it with a very simple question. So this is
Okay.
always shots out to her. So when it comes to your life, your education, entertainment, peace, family, connections, all of those things intertwined together, is it the quality or the quantity?
Quality, in my opinion.
And that is why.
Um, I can give you examples.
Go ahead.
Um, Friends groups you want to keep tight. because the less friends you have, the less people you have to worry about fucking you over.
Mm.
Less people you got to watch your pockets over, shit like that. And the stronger your relationships can be because you're able to spend more time with 5 people instead of 50.
Yes.
Family, on the other hand, you do want a large family, but you don't want those toxic family members who are only interested in you because of the success you bring, or who are always shitting on you because you don't live up to their image that they expect. So quality matters there too. Entertainment, I feel like that is the biggest part. Are you going to own all 3 of the major systems right now and only play one and waste $1,000? Or are you only going to buy the one that you're going to play and spend that extra $1,000 on something else you need? Are you
Yes.
going to go to fucking a huge ass festival to see 2 artists you like and fucking 78 artists you don't? Or are you going to go to a concert that's only got 3 artists, but you fuck with all 3 of them? Like, quality over quantity all day. Shit,
Gotcha.
yeah. Think about your weed. Are you gonna want some gas ass tree, or are you gonna want like 2 pounds of brick shit? Like,
Mm.
no. So yeah, quality over quantity any day of the week in my book. Other people may have different philosophies on it, and I'd love to hear it, but that's mine.
And again, there's no right or wrong. It is just their perspective and how it applies to you in your life.
Exactly.
Man. And with that, brother, again, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your time and really, again, being insightful, being open, and being present here with us and sharing. And shouts out to everyone who put in questions as well as interacted with the fun questions, all of that, and came
Yes,
in and
thank
gave
you.
your love to the Professor Kannabis in here, y'all. So thank y'all so much. And before
Thank you.
we go, brother, before we go, please plug all that you want to plug. Last thoughts, final message you want to give to your listeners and everybody, and we will wrap it from there.
All right. I will plug Professor Kannabis. That's both on Facebook and Instagram. I'm looking to get on more social medias. On Facebook, no underscore. On Instagram, there's an underscore in between Professor and Cannabis. But make sure you're spelling cannabis with a K, because rappers can't spell.
Mm.
Um, yep. Do expect to be seeing merch from me within the first quarter of next year. Um, Same with music around the same time. If not, just because both of them take money and you got to choose your endeavors.
Yes.
Be expecting to see music around the second quarter of next year. Gotta make sure it's done right.
Yes.
Um, I will also always plug my boys, Case Kane. That is Kace space Cayne. My man's got bars for fucking days. Man is cold as hell, and he loves the industry. Um, I will always plug Miles B for the same fucking reason. That's M.Y, not M.I. Beautiful vocals. My man's got a dirty ass flow when he chooses to use it, and he loves the industry. Um, I think. Oh no, and Johnny Slash. He's got the coldest old school boom bap beats you've ever fucking heard. Swear to God, he's working with industry icons right now. Do not fucking sleep.
All
Johnny
right.
Slash is disgusting. Um, and for a final message, I'll just reemphasize the point to always be improving on yourself. Tomorrow is another opportunity to improve off of today.
Yes.
If you weren't able to do what you wanted to today, there's always tomorrow.
Yes. There it is, man. Live from the Professor Kannabis. And this for y'all has been another episode and another installment of more interviews, aka memoirs of our real experiences. And thank you all for coming in and enjoying this time, listening. Shout outs to y'all that's watching this now, as well as gonna be over at YouTube later, man. Check for this. I don't know when it's gonna be up, but hey, it's gonna be up. So y'all gonna get to also see it on the playback. And as y'all are doing that, Don't forget to continue to write your memoirs and experiences so that you can keep growing and sharing your life. With that, y'all, peace and one love, and we are out.
Peace out.